Yeah, Tony, what are you working on over there? The Rare Metal 2 EVO edition? Okay, let's put it through its paces. And we're back from testing, and as you guys can see, we have the Rare Metal 2 EVO, and the first to receive that EVO touch is the bottom of the shoe right here. This shoe has slightly more rubber than just the regular Rare Metal 2, and it also has 2mm depth, which means it is on par with typically what is out there currently, but this has denser rubber, so it's going to last a little longer, whether you're playing indoors or outdoors. And as you guys can see from this B-roll footage, it is basically on par with the likes of the Air Jordan 1 and the Kobe 9 and Kobe 6 traction patterns. So if that doesn't say enough about this traction, I don't know what else does. And not only that, but this does it without squeaking, which may throw some people off, but don't let it throw you off at all. This bite is very aggressive, as you guys can tell as well from the B-roll footage. Playing around in these is gonna feel so natural in your movements, is gonna give you a lot of stopping power, so that way you can get a slight advantage over the competition. No matter what movements you're doing, whether you're doing hezzies, crossovers, step backs, Euro steps, I don't care what you're doing, you are going to have the most amount of coverage, even if you get a little shifty, especially with the traction rolling up on the sidewalls in the forefoot, if you got it like that, of course. And the next thing to get the evolutionary change is the midsole. Gone is supercritical Jetlon. Now what replaces it is Zerolon. What this cushion is going to give you is going to be incrementally better over the previous model. Think of Ironman Mark 1 and Ironman Mark 2. It's just going to feel a little bit more refined. Your steps are going to feel a little bit quicker, and you're also going to have minutely more impact protection. So you're going to last a little longer. You're also going to have about a half step quicker, and you're going to feel a little quicker on the basketball court. And in a game where minute statistics matter, this is going to give you that extra advantage in that game of numbers. Next, going into the support category of the Rare Metal 2 EVO, this has what I like to call barefoot support. What do I mean by that? Well, it means that this shoe is going to have you feeling as natural as possible in really any activity, but sticking with basketball, first starting off with the little changes that add up. You sit within the sidewall in the midsole, so that way you're not going to roll over the footbed when you find your preferred lacing system in this very unorthodox lacing system, but I promise you it works. After the flex zone in your toe, that's where the lacing system starts, and then it goes all the way up to a high top orientation at the very top. And even though the collar gives you ankle mobility, don't let that fool you, because these structured holes draws your ankle into that TPU wrapped heel. Now, this is where you can get a little customizable in your support. You have 3 options going up and then 2 options front to back with the eyelets on top. So that way you can get a little more support here, a little less here, a little more mobility. Either way, those little changes are going to have you feeling the best that you want to feel on the basketball court. And I wish that more companies did this, where they gave you options, because not every foot shape is different. I'm glad they provide it here with Brand Black. And once you find that, and once it draws you into the heel, again, that TPU wrap along the heel counter wraps along the upper, so that way it also helps with the sidewall to keep you contained on very aggressive movements. And as you guys can see here, what I mean by draw you in, look at all the directions that these eyelets pull you to. They primarily pull you in the back, in the ankle area, and then in the forefoot. They draw you into the midfoot, into the forefoot area, so that way they lock you down on that footbed. And I know that weight is typically not a factor, but the weight also adds to that barefoot feeling like you're playing on nothing. Overall, the support, even though minimal, is absolutely on par with the best out there, such like the Kobe 9. Next, that gets the evolutionary addition to the shoe is the fit and the material section. Speaking for normal foot shapes, starting off with the fit, definitely go true to size. You're going to have a thumb's width of space. For narrow foot shapes, maybe go down half a size. That way you can get that true snug one-to-one fit. For wide footers, consider going up half a size. And I'm sorry that you guys can't try these on in store. Just take my recommendation with what you can when buying online and go from there. But going back to normal foot shapes, like I said, you have a thumb's width of space. That way you can let your toes splay out, and that way they're not being crowded and cramped, so that way you don't lose any blood circulation. And also along the fit, this lining right here, they did replace from the Rare Metal 2, and this lining, in my opinion, conforms to your foot even better than the previous lining, so that way it's going to have an even better fit all around when you get your correct shoe size. I would preferably go with your Euro size. That's actually what helped me buy these. So my size is a size 11 if you guys need a reference, size 45 in Euro size, 44.5, so if that helps a little bit numerically. But getting along to the materials, they also re-engineered the ripstop, so that way they added more structure, but they didn't lose any ventilation, thank goodness. They only restructured it around other supports that they felt that the shoe would be better at. So they did still let heat escape, especially after those long hours. You're definitely going to enjoy playing in these. Also, what I would like to add with the materials, I personally changed the laces from the Rare Metal 2 EVO back to the Rare Metal 2. That's personally because of length. If you keep the laces in, if you double knot it, triple knot it, you should be perfectly fine. They're gonna stay locked in. But I personally went back just strictly for the length. I just personally don't like my laces dangling off, especially with the fear that I'll roll my ankle as many times as I have in the past. But with that being said, the materials, you're going to be golden on these. They're definitely going to last, especially on the previous pair. I beat the absolute crap out of them. So the fact that they re-engineered this to take even more of a beating, I'm happy with that. And overall, this shoe, like I said, you're going to be feeling like you're going to be playing in nothing. The traction is money, on par with the likes of the Kobe 9, 6, and Air Jordan 1, which is easily one of the best tractions of all time. This is definitely a forever type shoe. If I can buy another pair and then just have it stowed away so I can play in another one when I'm done with this, I definitely will. But, you know, again, my real only nitpick is the laces, and you can change those out. You can find different laces that can lock in and perform with this. So if that's also your nitpick, then, you know, consider changing out the laces. But other than that, the support's there, even though it's minimal. The materials, like I said, they're built to last, and they're stronger, and they're going to last a little longer in this. This is truly the mark of the name EVO when we are talking about an evolution in the next line, because, you know, all the changes that I mentioned, it really adds up. This is truly, like I mentioned in the cushion setup, a Mark 1 to the Mark 2. It's just more refined, it's more structured, and David still blew my mind with this design, the designer of the shoe, and I still can't wait to see what he and the other members of Brand Black come up with for the next model. Will it actually be the Rare Metal 3? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But thank you guys so much for checking out the performance review on the Rare Metal 2 EVO. Let me know down below if you've played in a pair. Let me know your thoughts. And with that being said, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that bell notification, and swing by next time for the next performance review. Class dismissed.